Welcome back. This is the fourth episode in the Imagi Tutorial Series, which has been, I'm sure you've noticed, notably unprofessional. If I want to do some quick and powerful work for my morning liquid greens, I'll hit auto backgrounds and then auto glyphs, and I'll leave them mostly where they appeared. Maybe just give them a little room to breathe or work or operate, and I'm really just demonstrating how much I trust the way that they come in. Then I'll hit auto linkages, and once again I will leave them mostly where they appear, and even their orientations as I connect them, once again demonstrating that I have faith in whatever is doing the choosing. Because I want the enhanced effect of using the alpha glyphs, I'll go ahead and put that in, and generally it's going to be something like mental and physical energy. And once again, I'll leave them mostly where they have come in. And a lot of times, almost all the time, it makes perfect sense the way that they have. Now, putting symbols on top of each other isn't necessarily a bad thing, because there could be some sort of an enhancing effect to it. That is what I would call just a fast session to hit my morning greens. I'll obviously go ahead and adjust the opacity the way I want it, set the timer, and put my mind on the green food that the liquid green food that I'm hitting, and then I'll hit energize, and it works beautifully. I have sustained mental and physical energy all day long, almost all the time. Other times I like them to be, like I showed earlier, a written command, so I'll pause this while I arrange these so that thought makes sense. This is what I mean by written command, almost as though it is just a symbolic textual command of what you're doing, and as we have seen, for instance, in all kinds of art throughout the ages. In any case, I wanted to demonstrate this part of it to show that you can still build a really powerful, complex session in a very short period of time, less than a minute kind of stuff. But there's more, obviously. It should be clear by now that we're talking about magic, and it's high-level stuff. But we've been talking about it in a largely mechanical sense. If you want to really raise the magical evocative, then building something truly beautiful can put you deeper and deeper into the signal line between here and our causal energetic levels. Artistic design, in fact, has been directly involved in every major upgrade to humanity from the very beginning. If you create a work of art with Imagi, with no intent whatsoever for yourself or anything else for that matter, the magic and motivating force can be astonishing, especially because what you're in effect telling it is that you're trusting it to do whatever it needs to do. If, as an example, you spent 2 hours creating something, pay attention to how you feel. And you can build it over the course of a whole night, as an example, and just sit there and add a piece, change a piece, make it smaller, larger, overlap it, whatever. And just pay attention to how you feel and how that communication feels, how deep you are into the focus of, an accomplishment of something beautiful. There's no limit to what you can do to build something beautiful and, more importantly, powerful. If you're like a few of us, just doing the building of the image is the most powerful work we can do. It has been for me. I've taken 3 hours just tinkering, adding stuff, taking it away, etc., and been contacted by amazing things. And in fact, because of it, have been initiated into a higher magical order. You can see some of the designs so that you can just find out how some of this stuff has been made. As an example, by clicking on Social Hub, go to forums, go to the Imagi forums, and find the sessions. That's where people post their creations. And it's important to note that there's work being done through those images in that forum just by looking at them. And it's also important to note, posting these things to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, so on, that we are spreading that work and trusting, in fact, that it's appropriate work, which it will be, because the beings that are behind it still know exactly what is needed for literally anybody who would see that image. So what I'm going to do now is use all the auto select functions, and I'm going to take 5 minutes, during which, of course, I'll pause this and build something so that you can see the finished work. Pausing now. All right, I'm back. So I can admit to having done better work than this. I just messed around for a couple of minutes with it. I think what I'll do is open some of my past work so that you can see the variety of things that can be done with it. And so I'll just go ahead and pause this while I load those. Here's one you can see. I used only the moon symbols and made all the connections with the black pegs. That's the white ball. Made this one smaller to give an effective depth, and these are also just the black ball, and made these smaller to make them look farther away. And in this case, what I was building is that these symbols, they're on their way to becoming cohesive with the rest of what was built here. Now I'll go open another. This one, I believe, was everything was auto chosen, if I remember right. And I remember building it thinking of the icosahedral energy source, and I made it so that these ones were emitting from this front triangle, and these neural ones were emitting from the back triangle. This brown one, this tan one, is the symbol for language, and sometimes they will come in pairs. And I put this planetary symbol sort of as an indication that it is veiled or even trapped in some respects. And this is the symbol for love, and so along these neural lines you can see that it connects with the dendritic line to love, and then this moon symbol. And then here I've just made a white ball smaller and put it inside a planetary symbol, and obviously framed it all in this hexagon. And this one just happens to be that symbol turned sideways. Here I said whatever must be going on must be some kind of immediacy, so I wound up, of course, just connecting it as well. I'll go find another one. This one I built for continued use of of clearing aura, cleansing, and balancing the chakras just by opening them in a Windows photo viewer, as an example. So I built this one for reuse. And you can see that I took a little bit of time to create some of this stuff. Put these symbols in frames, which I really like to do. This is another one where I think it was all auto glyphs, but I wound up duplicating the linkages to be more extensive across the view. I adapted what I was seeing in, for instance, this ground lighting, illustrating that it's the ball that's being lit both from above and doing the lighting on the ground. I built this one just because I love building them, and it was, and I thought it was really cool and sort of, I don't know how to describe it. Moving along, this next one was also a auto select everything, and the alpha glyphs, if I remember correctly, I chose just by feeling in my fingers how they needed to come in. Again, I was just building something beautiful, and that's all I did. You can see that these lightning things are distorted. And then this, almost using the DNA as a kind of border, gave it an almost stage dimension to it, where it created depth. Next, on this one, I think was also an auto select everything, and I got noticing that there were shadows on the ground of this photograph, which is, it's a photograph, and so whether it was already in it or not, I don't know, but the white ball, I decided just to turn it into a moon, and therefore make it so that these dendritic, mitochondrial things, that's what you want to call them, actually make a shadow. And in doing so, it becomes literally a 3D view. Let's look at one or two more. I think it's possible on this one as well that it was all auto selected, and then I typed the characters again, just going by what my fingers felt like needed to be there. I may have also referred to the alpha glyph legend to see which of these felt like they needed to be in the view, and then I just arranged it so that these dendritic filaments, if you will, are really just sort of follow some of the lines that were in the background, and the effect, I thought, was extraordinary. There seems to be something building in energy over here, as an example, and then both of these nodes, if you will, are somehow supporting or serving this ball, if that's how you would want to see it. This one had a pretty powerful effect on the water that I hit it with, which I'll often do, and because it'll change the taste of the water. You'll notice that. Let's have a look at another. This one, if memory serves, was also the result of going autoglyphs and linkages and backgrounds, and then I went ahead and added something. I just had a hunch that I wanted to to do something with the elementals. I can't remember what I did, but it was some kind of work. And in this case, I've put the two symbols together in each case, and then as you can see, there are moon symbols, and then there's the idea of energy being expressed by the lightning. And this is a symbol for vision, and this one's for joy. This one's for a psychedelic experience. This one is release, but they, like I say, have said repeatedly, they all might have their own greater meanings depending on what needs to be done at the given moment. Anyway, that wraps up the video tutorials. We may do more of these. There's still many dimensions going on with Imagi that we're all discovering together, and so there's some really powerful group work coming up where we're going to be very selective on what we do as a group, maybe even for individuals in the group for emergency healing, things like that, but we're going to be called upon to do things for the planet as well. So anyway, thank you very much, and have a great one and enjoy yourself. Bye now.